going into the college football playoffs, Alabama with the upset over the Georgia Bulldogs. I will say this: I was rooting for Georgia because I wanted to believe and make sure that an SEC team got into the playoffs.
You wanted chaos too.
I did want chaos.
Exactly.
And when Alabama won, I immediately knew that an SEC team is going to get in. They're not going to leave an SEC team out. How do you think the playoff committee did? Do you think they got it wrong? The teams are Michigan, the number 1 seed, going against Alabama, the 4 seed, and you have Washington, the 2 seed, against Texas, the 3 seed. Do you think they got it right?
I don't. I mean, but it's politics, though. I understand. They had to have an SEC team. I think about TSU last year. TSU, they were undefeated. Everybody was crying, TCU, I'm sorry, TCU has to be there. They have to be there. They get there. They beat Michigan. Very good win and all. They get to Georgia. Not just
a blowout.
It was a away. And so I think for Florida State, this is the first time a team has been undefeated in a Power 5 and not been in the playoffs. So I think they, like you said, SEC. They want an SEC team there. Georgia won this game, they would have been automatically in there. No cries about it. It's like, okay, Georgia, you deserve to be there now. Alabama there, the way they played all year, it's just been,
they've been surviving by the skin of their teeth a lot.
I mean, the Auburn game last week, that miracle they had to win that game. The Central Florida, they almost lost to Central Florida back in November. I mean, team look-wise, Alabama's just, they didn't look like Alabama of the past Alabamas we've known to have. Like, Florida State was undefeated. I know they lost their quarterback, but I think they got punched because their quarterback was out, and they're off. They barely beat Louisville in their AAC conference championship game last night. So I think it's because all that equivalent to, let's just get Alabama in. We get the marquee game, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, Washington. Let's get those marquee games because you put Florida State in there, I don't think it would have been the sexy game.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the ratings are going to be through the roof for Alabama, Michigan. People are going to want to watch that game. Right. And then if Alabama does manage to win, people are going to be clamoring to see rematch Alabama, Texas, if that does happen. For TV purposes, it's perfect. This committee did exactly what they needed to do for the TV purposes. For which teams deserve to be in there, I gotta say, I think they got it right. I mean, I may be an SEC homer because I played for an SEC team. I'm a professor at an SEC school, and so I live and bleed in SEC. But this is why Florida State, they're in the ACC, and the ACC wasn't that tough this year. I mean, I understand the ACC. They were 6-4 against SEC teams this year. Yeah, but the SEC teams this year, they played the best SEC teams. Yeah. They have a lot of teams going to bowl games, but yes, because they played each other in the regular season. And so there are so many teams right now in the ACC that have 4-4 records in the ACC. 4-4, 3-4, 4-3 records in the ACC. It's a mediocre league. And so Florida State was the best of the mediocre teams in that league. And I think if you look at it, this year's Florida State team is not better than last year's TCU team. And if they got into the playoffs against Michigan, Washington, or Texas, they're getting destroyed. And I just think that when you look at it from a collective like that, I think the committee got it right because no one wants to see a team get in there and get destroyed. But they're going to have a chance to prove if they deserve to be in there. They're going to play Georgia in the bowl game and go up against an SEC team. It wouldn't surprise me if Georgia is not fully manned because they may have some guys that just don't play because they're trying to get into the NFL. And I think Georgia's still going to blow them out. So, shout out to FSU, Coach Norvell, former head coach for the Memphis Tigers. Shout out to him as well. Great season. But you are where you are next year. Be good next year, and you'll be in the 12-team playoffs. So that'll be great for a lot of schools, the 12-team playoffs. Be great next year, and you will have an opportunity to prove it on the field.
You're right. I just think it's just can the playoff system, can they be like, can the SEC, can they survive with that SEC team? And I know, like you said, it's just ratings and all, but I want to see a playoff system where there's no SEC team. Like, if you're...
Well, you won't get the best team.
But you will, though, sometimes. The SEC is going to have a down year. Like the ACC had a down year this year. SEC is going to be a down year. It's going to have a down year one of these years.
I don't think.
Can they survive that? It's my thing. Or is it just money? Like it's like SEC people. Like it's the money. It's like.
Well, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, this year the SEC did have a down year. Sure. Alabama lost to Texas in the second game of the season. Ole Miss is the third best team in the SEC. When is Ole Miss ever going to again be the third best team in the SEC? Georgia, undefeated all year, won a lot of those games barely. So if there was ever a year to leave the SEC out, this was the year to leave an SEC team out, and yet the committee still felt like, no, we got to put one on there.
Yeah, put one up in there. I understand, but I'm FSU they will be there. They're gonna be like head of the topic because Clemson they're trending down. Like Dabo and all, they're trending down. Trying to think Clemson. I mean, I just think ACC in general might be on the downtrend, but I think Florida State will always be right there. Washington, like Pac-12, like there's a lot of alignment with Pac-12 next year. They're moving to the Big Ten. Like it's a lot of stuff with Pac-12. So this might be the last hoorah for Pac-12 too. So it's good. You got David and Goliath. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. Also excited, next year Texas and Oklahoma are going to be in the SEC. So excited to see those matchups. I think the playoffs are going to be great either way. But definitely looking forward to it. All right, everybody. Greg also has a podcast. Greg, what's your podcast?
It is Throw It Down, Big Fella Podcast with my man Darren Randolph. He works at WRAG as well, producer. So check us out. We'll have it air every Friday, 7 o'clock on YouTube. Check out, subscribe to at Throw It Down, Big Fella Podcast.
All right, y'all. Check out the Throw It Down, Big Fella Podcast and click and subscribe to the Hunter's Eyes Podcast and to Hunter's Eyes Productions page and have much more content like this.